My name is Kristin Bradfield, and I did my first triathlon in 2008, and I did my first Ironman in 2009. And I've done 11 since, so this will be my 12th. Just about one every year, except for 2012, I took a year off. And I've done 2 a year, at least 3 or 4 of those years. I was never very athletic as a kid, and we used to joke that when I played summer softball, I slept in the back seat during practice. So being athletic was something that was new to me as an adult, and I had never swam until I was almost 33 years old, so I got into it just to do this. Ironman Wisconsin, 2009 was my first Ironman. My family lives in Wisconsin, and I had always heard good things about the race, so that was where I wanted to start. And I finished in 15 hours and 45 minutes. So in 2014, when I tried to do Ironman Lake Tahoe, it was canceled the morning of the race. We were in our wetsuits on the beach, and there was a forest fire. And so I got one of the Kona spots that would have been allocated during the race, and I raced here in 2015. And going into Tahoe, I think I was the most prepared I had ever been for a race, and getting that Kona spot made me realize that I really wanted to qualify, so I decided to start working toward it in 2015, 2016. I qualified in Ironman Wisconsin in 2016. So for so many reasons, that was the perfect race for me to qualify at. You know, it's my hometown race. It was my first Ironman. It's my favorite course, and it was also the 15th anniversary of September 11th. And so as a New Yorker, it was just a perfect day and the right time and place to go for it. Couldn't have been more perfect. It was the hardest I've ever worked by far. You know, the hard work in the early season, I think, was key, and not missing any of that was really important. So when it's cold and dark and you don't feel like training, you know, just to get to the nicer months, put in a lot of work. And since I had never really raced an Ironman before, I had placed 10th a couple times, had a good time at races, but needed a practice race. And so we did Lake Placid as a warm-up, so to say, just to try some things out and see if I could even do it. And that race went really well. My goal was top 5, and I placed 4th, and had 7 weeks to pull it all together for Wisconsin. So it was a great season. I, you know, worked hard. I was tired. I was ready, but overall, it couldn't have been better. It's been a tough year. I had goals here in Kona. You know, I really wanted to have a fast run, and I had Lake Placid this year again, and wanted to set a course PR and do better than last year, but life definitely didn't go as planned. And I think in this sport, you have to be able to be flexible and know when you can train and when you need to stop. And I needed to stop, and I did, but getting started was a part of getting life back on track for me. And so I went into Lake Placid with about 8 weeks of training, which didn't necessarily feel ready, but I was able to do the race. I was only an hour slower than last year, and it was motivation to keep going and keep working toward Kona. And so for me, being here is a celebration, and I think that was the motivation that kept me going. So I'm not going to have the race I had originally dreamed of on Saturday, but it's Kona, so it doesn't matter. And, you know, I'm just going to enjoy being here. It would be nice to make it to the energy lab before the sun sets. That's really all I've got. Oh, and have lots of lava flows when the race is over. It's not so much just following a rigid schedule, it's just being consistent, and that was really important. And, you know, being uncomfortable. I had to go way out of my comfort zone, and I had to be willing to fail in order to make it. So I think, you know, never give up. It's a lot of things are possible that you don't believe are.
Thank you for your time.
Something funny that people don't know, some people know this, but I was a beauty queen, a pageant contestant.
Awesome.
Yeah.